Hey everybody, Danielle here. Just touching base with y'all. I'm actually on my lunch break at work. I had a telemed visit with my doctor today, and after it finished up, I thought I may reach out to y'all for a little video. As you guys know, the book came out yesterday of Lisa Marie's and Riley's. We were kind of up in the air on whether or not we were going to read it. After talking with a few good friends, it was recommended to me that I read it. I was just so worried that picking up on Riley, that you know, she may want to try to keep the peace, that maybe she wasn't going to keep everything the way that her mother had it, to try to keep the peace within her immediate family. And so I was just kind of unsure about reading it, and I did go ahead and read the book. Well, I did not read it. I listened to the audiobook. Audio, I'm a better listener than reader. I used to love to read, but after being at work all day and being on a computer all day, sometimes once I get settled and sit down to actually read a book, I'll have to either, excuse me, oh goodness, I'm so sorry, I'm yawning now. It's contagious, everybody's gonna do it. But sit down, get settled, get sleepy, as I already am, and start reading. I'm either going to read over the same page several times or turn around and have to reread. So I'm just a better listener. I'm a big podcast listener. So I did the audiobook and listened. If you have the opportunity to do the audiobook, I do recommend it. If you don't know, Julia Roberts reads the parts for Lisa, and Riley reads her own parts, and then they do have some of the taped, the recordings that Lisa was doing. I'm guessing that they were taped recordings that she was making as notes for her book. So they do have that, so you do hear Lisa's voice. My grandparents are going to read the book. Their copy, I believe, will be at their house Thursday or Friday. So they'll probably read through it over the weekend. May take a little time, just depending on how, how things affect them. In this video, I'm not going to spoil any parts of the book, or I'm going to try my best not to spoil any parts of the book. I have been comparing notes with a good friend of mine. She and I have both, she's read the book and I did the audio, and so we have been exchanging notes and talking about that, talking about parts of the book. But I'm not going to spoil any of the book, because I know a lot of you are waiting on your copy, or you're waiting, until you have a little bit of time to read, which I understand. So, just to say, I did listen, and I'm going ahead. I'm going ahead and doing my review. Then once my grandparents have read and they feel if they want to do a public review, and depending on how they feel on the book, then we'll do one for them as well. I am going to their house over the weekend to record new videos, but I'm not sure that they'll be ready then. But when they're ready, maybe they'll give their point of view on that. For me, this book was very emotional, very sad. There was no upbeat vibe to the book for me at all, and I don't think that was an intention. That's not what I'm saying, that they were intentionally trying to get that. The book, for me, very emotional, very depressing. I talked to another friend of mine that has not read the book, doesn't really have intentions of that. She may, just because, I've kind of kept on and on and on about the book with her. But she says that's a reason. I hate to say it, but I do almost wish that I had stuck with my gut feeling and not not listened to the book. I'm trying not to say read, listened. I do wish I had kind of stuck to my gut feeling and not listened to the book, because it did bring me down. As you know, I did not know Lisa. I've never met Lisa. My dad and my uncle, my grandparents, of course, knew her, and they were around her. My opinion is that Lisa led a very, very sad and distraught life, and I think she went through a lot of things that you'll find out in this book. You know, she went through a lot of things, a lot of twisted emotions that I feel for anybody that goes through some of the things and the feelings that she's gone through. The book does dive deeply and emotionally into Lisa losing her daddy. It hits on Lisa's preteen and teen years, things that she went through with her mother, meeting her first husband, having her children, her different husbands that she had in her life, losing her son, Ben. And I mean, just saying that in general, that those things can take an emotional toll on anybody's spirit, their physical and mental, you know, abilities. And it is a book. I just say be prepared. Be prepared to dive in and hear a few things that maybe you weren't aware of, or things that you maybe you've heard them before or whatnot. But yeah, it was a very sad, depressing, emotional book. At first, I was not going to read it because I was worried that Riley would not express her mother's true self and what her mother wanted in the book, just to keep the peace. I do have to say that from my point of view, I don't feel like that was the case. I do feel like what Lisa wanted conveyed in the book was expressed. Now, I mean, I don't know, again, I don't know how much maybe Riley and the team went through and listened to recordings, and she knew things from her mother that maybe she did water down or strain out. Again, I don't know that she could have done a whole lot of that, and this was just the most, you know, broken down that she could express in the book. And that's fine. I mean, we may never know. I do think that some of you that have not read the book, you will be very surprised in the character of some people in the book, and the way that, you know, Lisa, stories that she's told and the way that she's portrayed them. And I do have to say, on certain instances like that, and I'm not going to go into detail, I don't want to spoil anything, but you'll know when you read it what I'm talking about. There are certain instances in the book where it's the exact same things that my grandparents have said about people and situations. So I'll just leave it at that. But all in all, I really think that Lisa was digging deep within her soul to do this book. Unfortunately, you know, she passed on, and hasn't been quite 2 years. And unfortunately, she passed on before that could be done, but her daughter did honor her wishes, and I feel like Riley conveyed the message, you know, as best she could. Again, I don't know her personally. I don't know the situation. So, I mean, this could be the most, you know, furthest done down that she could do. Maybe she did strip it, but if she did, then wow, at what could have really been there. It's, you know, it's words that sound like things Lisa would say. you know, she says that she went through the tapes and conveyed the words just as her mother said them. So, that's my review. I do think that I think a decent job was done, if a decent job can be done, if that makes any sense. I don't know that that really makes sense. I think a decent job was done if a decent job can be done on a book like this. It makes you leave. I already felt sorry for Lisa in the sense that she just, to me, always seemed like a sad person. Like there was something there, and it made me feel even more sad for her. I feel like Lisa lived a very, I just keep passing the word sad around, and I don't, that's so general, but that's just the way I feel. I feel like Lisa led a very sad life after the death of her father, and while she still did things to pick up some of the pieces, that was always there. And that's, I get, if that makes any sense. I feel like that was still always there in the back of her mind. And then losing her son after everything in her life that's gone on, I feel like the final straw, if you will, was losing her son. And though she had 3 daughters and people who, you know, loved and cared about her, I think that loss was the most significant thing that really truly ended it for her. But yeah, I recommend any of y'all, any of the fans, I recommend reading it. It does open up your eyes to see a little bit and kind of get into the mind that was Lisa Marie Presley. And I'm interested to see if many of you agree with me, or what you have to say, or any points that you would like to make. And again, I know that what you really want Nanny and Pawpaw's views, and I've talked to them about that. Once they have read the book in full and they've had time to kind of let it sink in, I mean, you have to imagine how they're going to feel on some of the very emotional parts. I mean, the only way I could explain it to them was be prepared. And that is very depressing. I did feel a very emotional, very depressed sense when I finished the book. It's hard for me to say, oh, it's a good book, because it is very real, it's very raw, it's very emotional, and to me it's very depressing. But I mean, that's just a part of it. That's a part of a memoir. That's a part of an autobiography. You know, lives are not always butterflies and sunshine and you know, dancing fairies and whatnot. I mean, there's ups and downs. So I do recommend that you read it. I'm very interested in your comments. Again, I know that you guys do want to see what my grandparents, Billy and Joe, have to say. And as soon as they are up to it, or they feel like they can express their feelings, then I will record a video with them to discuss there, so that you guys can see that. That is coming, as long as they're ready and agree that they want to do that. But that was just my take on it. I also did watch the Oprah interview, and I thought that it was okay. I watched the re-air of it that I found on the website. It was a re-air, so I had already listened to the book. So I was kind of down with that. So the interview wasn't uplifting to me. I was still coming out of that emotional pull from the book. So maybe that's why, if I had watched the interview first and then the book, then I would have felt better about the interview. But I think Riley does a good job with what she has. And, you know, she seems to be pretty business minded and you know, have a good head on her shoulders to run business, and works with what she has and you know, keeps herself out of a, you know, bad predicament or whatnot. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting interview. Again, I watched it right after I finished the book, so it just, it affected me differently. So I'm very interested how you guys felt about the interview and how you all are feeling about the book. If you want to hit me up in the comments or in Messenger, if you want to keep, you know, talk about a specific part of the book, hit me up in Messenger on Facebook or here in the comments here on YouTube. But coming soon to you are all new videos. I will be recording some this weekend after I get back. Nolan and I are taking Lainey out of town to a concert in Alabama, and then once I get back and pick up my little Luna pug, she's gonna do a slumber party at Nanny and Papa's with their Wonga. Then once I get back and settled, we're gonna record some all new videos. We've got all new stuff. Be sure to hit us up with questions. I've got a post on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, you can send your questions here in the comments or email me, Dani, DANI_row, ROWE12 at yahoo.com. That's Dani_row12 at yahoo.com. And I'm gonna get out of here and off my lunch break. I will catch you guys again soon, and again, just let me know. I'm interested. We can talk books. And until next time, we love y'all, and remember, Elvis fans matter always. Bye bye.